Hello, my friends. My name is Erin. Welcome back to Three Cat Stitching. This is a channel all about cross stitch where I talk about the goings on in my life and in cross stitch. It has been a minute since you've seen me. If you've been here before, if you are new, welcome. It might be a while before you see me again. Consistency has not been my friend the last few years on FlossTube, but that is because of life stuff. If you are new here, or if you just haven't got a video where I've spoken about it before, I am currently in school. I just had my 31st birthday, so being in school full time is an experience. Luckily, my class size is quite small. We're close knit, which is nice, but we are of varying ages, and sometimes it is quite interesting to see what the 23-year-olds of the world are getting up to. I am in school, should be wrapping up in January of this year. And much like my consistency here on the channel, my stitchy bug has ebbed and flowed quite a lot in the past year and a half that I've been in school. I've had some really great stitching months, and I've had some really lackluster stitching months. And the last time I would have posted a video would have been in April, where I thought it was brave and exciting to try to post a video every day in April. I did not get there. I got maybe 2/3 through the month, but that was such a joyful experience. I loved creating all of those videos. I loved being involved or experiencing cross stitch in a different way than stitching, although I was stitching quite a bit, I think, because I realized there are so many patterns in the world that I would love to stitch, and not a lot of time. And I really don't want my WIP pile to get to extraordinary amounts. I love that for everybody who loves that for themselves, but for me, I tend to get a little anxious when there are a lot of things to be done and a lot of mess afoot, because I'm not the greatest at organization. Maybe something you don't need to know about me. But I have a big exam tomorrow. It is currently the 27th of July, so a little bit past mid-year WIP parade season, but I have a big exam tomorrow, and so why not pull out all of my WIPs and show them to you instead of studying the brain? That's the logic here. I also want this video because the one and only WIP parade I ever made was back in 2023 in October when I first started my channel. And I haven't done one since. And what I'm really missing this year, as I've done a lot, I've had some finishes of some WIPs that have been around. I'm missing, getting to see what they were like at the beginning of the year. If I didn't take a photo of them, I can't really see my progress. And so I would like to make a mid-year WIP parade here, and then I would also really love to have the time and energy to do one in January. Because I have 18 WIPs at the moment, and I know it's been 3.5 minutes. I will get started, but I do want to start the video with a finish. My last finish, I think, happened in April or May. Big thanks to WIP Go this year, because I had it on WIP Go 3 times, and it was called all 3 times at the beginning of the year for 1,000 stitches, and that got me really close to a finish. If you are following me on Instagram at 3 Cut Stitching, I will leave a link below. You would have seen this, but I finished, I'll go this way, Love Bug Sampler by Sprouting Lupine. This is, she's so beautiful. This is on an 18 count dusty green Ada. I don't know who the dyer is. I bought it on clearance from Stitch It Central, which is sorry, it's not ironed. None of my pieces are. Stitch It Central is a local needlework store, not necessarily to me, but it is out of London, Ontario, and they do ship across the country, and I also think across the border. London is about 2 hours away from me, so apologies, my cat has determined now is the best time to get a snack, and I know that my microphone will pick that up. Oh well, we're hungry over here. Yes, she is beautiful. This is with all of the called for colors. I originally started this in February of 2023 with Marjorie of Marjorie Made and a number of other people who did this. I think we started it on or around Valentine's Day. And then I oriented it wrong on a different piece of like more olivey green fabric. And I wasn't going to pull it all out and try again. So I just restarted it in August of 2023. And it's taken me until April, May-ish of 2025 to finish her. But I love her so much, and we are thrilled. So I was able to put in 2025. This backstitch was actually so much fun. I was very intimidated by it. I saved it until the very end, but I did it, and she is gorgeous. And I love her, and I need to find a frame, and I still have so much fabric left. This is one half of the fabric, so I have this all one more time. And not Lola Crow. Sprouting Lupine has some more sort of Valentine's-y kind of pink things, but I don't think I want to stitch any of those on this fabric. She has a pattern called Warning Signs, which is yellow, like poisonous or like bitey insects. And so I think I might stitch that on this as well. And then we'll see what happens with the other half of the fabric. So that was my finish. Round of applause for me. I am so happy that I did that and that is complete. At the beginning of the year, I did not have much done. I guess I can show you because I know. At the beginning of the year, I had this part done, this part done, I think, and just a little bit of this done. So I did a lot thanks to WIP Go. WIP Go has fallen off the rails. I don't even pay attention to it anymore because I have not I have not stitched. I'm sure I got new starts loaded up and ready to go because I did put a few of those on my bingo board. But it worked for the first few months, and that is just delightful for me. We're just going to continue with patterns that I do not have in Pattern Keeper. There are way more of them than there are patterns that I have in Pattern Keeper. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have 8 in Pattern Keeper, 10 not. Because I have 18 WIPs. These are all in various stages of completion or need to restart or all kinds of junk like that. Mainly because it is so much easier for me to pull up a pattern on my phone. And I find also that the patterns that I have on my phone are less colors. Like I have 3 monochrome or semi-monochrome patterns that are not on, or sorry, that are on Pattern Keeper. And it's just easier to, if I am in the mood to stitch and I can put in 100 stitches, to do it on one of those patterns. So we'll start with the ones that I have most of the paper patterns for. If I don't have a paper pattern, I will put a picture right there. The first one I have is a Luca-S kit. I love this. I bought this for myself for my birthday in 2023, and I think I started it in 2023. Maybe I made my first video in 2022. I think that sounds right. Who cares? It was a long time ago. Anyway, the pattern is called An Intimate View. This has seen better days. I have sent an email to Luca-S because they've recently started being able to provide PDFs that can go into Pattern Keeper or Markup XP. And this one is confetti heavy. And so I sent an email. And then within like 24 hours, their customer service people were like, email these people. And so I did that, and now I'm just waiting. But it is the weekend and also summer. This is on a 16 count Ada with all the called for everything. And this is where I'm at. So really just up in this corner here. I think I have like 20 more rows until I hit the water, and then this diagonal is the start of her hat. I love this pattern, and I can't wait to have it finished. And I know that I need to put in the rest of the rows of white so that I can get into the fun of it, which is all of the other colors, and to get the dress and everything like that going. So I'm very, I'm eager to get this one going, but the white on white is a bit atrocious. And so hopefully when I put it into Pattern Keeper, it gets to be a little bit easier for me. But yes, I love the Luca-S kit. Everything about it so far has been great. It's just like my brain that has not been eager or excited to work on it. Okay, so I don't have the paper for this, although you know why, because it got water damage. But this is Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is stitched on an 18, maybe a 20 count. Fabrics for Fun printed fabric. Listen, I have an aversion to frocking, but I also want things to look perfect. And so when I make an error, it just sits and languishes for a long time. This feels like it's barely started. I started a long time because also for my birthday, for Christmas of 2023, I gifted myself this pattern, this fabric, and then I asked Hannah over at Evertote to do a floss conversion for me into Roxy Floss Co. And it's beautiful. So this is what it looks like. It's blowing out quite a bit. This fabric is vibrant. It is a bright green. I'm not sure if I show you more of it, if it will show. No, it's not really showing up as bright green, but it is bright green. Maybe if I come in a bit closer. No, not really. Anyway, it's bright green. And I love it, but I've made an error somewhere in this house. I don't know what it is. I'm stitching this 1/1, but somehow the stitches in the house just, do you see that? They just look different. They look bigger, puffier, what have you. And it's really bothering me. And so I think I just have to unstitch that whole section and then restitch it and just kind of keep going. Because I'm loving the colors and I love this pattern and I do want to stitch it, but the paper pattern is also giving me a bit of grief. So yeah, hopefully this gets some more work on it in the fall because I love it and I want it finished and I'm a long way from finished. One of the first patterns I ever bought, or the first kit I ever bought myself, was the Gold Collection Christmas Village Ornaments from Dimensions. These are them. This is the one I'm stitching. I bought this so long ago, before even floss tube, before I made a floss tube. And it's sat the way it is. And I can't really tell you why, because when I stitch on it, I love it. And it's so fun and so easy, and the colors are great. These are bigger than intended because you are supposed to do this on 18 count ivory Ada, but I didn't like the way everything was sitting on the 18 count. And so I picked up a 16 count, or I had a 16 count ice blue. And so it's bigger, but it looks so good. And so they're going to be bigger. And I do have plans to do all of them, but when, I couldn't tell you, because this is also, I have to redo that backstitch. That is the first backstitch I ever did, and I know where I went wrong now, so I have to redo that. But it is just brilliant, and it goes by so quick. I don't know why I haven't picked it up, because I'm not really a Christmas girl, I think. I am a Christmas girl in theory. In practice, I am not a Christmas girl. I love the idea of having Christmas ornaments and doing all kinds of over the top, wonderful Christmas stitches. I love to look at Christmas stitching, but to stitch it myself, not entirely the bee's knees for me. This is another thing I haven't touched in a billion years, but it's Stitch with Coffee Designs, and it's Strawberry Bellful, and it looks like this. I literally just have this top band done. It's abysmal that I started this a billion years ago, and it's all I have done. It's 1/1 on, I think, a 20 count. So it's teeny tiny. I don't know what fabric this is. I think it's called Mushroom, but it would be an Ada. I mean, it's soft, so maybe it's like, I mean, it's Ada obviously, but I don't know what type of fabric it is. It's soft though. But that is where I got to. Another project that honestly would be perfect for summer. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. This is just telling me how many, crazy things I have started and I need to finish. Pardon me while I just look through the magazine because I didn't pull out the photo. So this is from Stitch Sprout, and it's the 2023 Halloween collection. It's called Nobody is Home, and it looks like this. The reason why I haven't stitched this is because it was my first time stitching over 2 on something. This is a 28 count piece of fabric that I dyed myself. It's my first time doing over 2, and I made a mistake, and so my door is lopsided. And so I have to figure out where that mistake was and pick it out. Now, this piece of fabric is big enough. I can definitely just like start again if I want to, which I might want to because now I've stitched on, I've stitched over 2 more. I have more experience. So that is my lovely little start. And yeah, it'll be a restart probably. This is from the 2019 Cross Stitcher Magazine August issue. It's called Gnome for Summer. It looks like this. I've had every intention of giving this to my father for Father's Day for 2 years in a row now, and I've missed it both times. I'm not anywhere close to finished, but I think he's cute, and my dad will get it eventually. This is stitched on a 16 count white chocolate Ada. I apologize. I'm not really a ironer girl, but I feel like I should be because some of these just don't look very appealing at all. Very, very wrinkly. But this is my start. And yeah, we're getting there. This might be, no, there's a little bit more and then we're at the top. And I have started the gnome. I have a little bit more this way, maybe 10 stitches or so. And so we're getting there, but we still have a long way to go. This is another magazine piece. I am on a roll with these. This is from the June 2023 Just Cross Stitch edition. These are 2 patterns by Saving Grace's Fine Needle Arts. They're called Flower Seed Packs. I'm doing the pansies. I did put a little bit of work on this year. Not a whole lot, but a little bit, which we'll say I'm proud of. This is stitched on, I think, an 18 count or, yeah, probably 18 count, some sort of vintage yellowy fabric. I don't know what it's called. But this is where I am. So I have gotten to the bottom and I've started the lettering. Yeah. Still have a long way to go, but I do really love it. I love the way my stitches are looking on this one. I've toyed back and forth with going and finishing the border and doing the words and then focusing on the flowers, or focusing on the flowers and then doing that last. But I kind of just see how I feel when I pick it up and then I stitch something. So yeah. Oh gosh, I love all these projects. The next thing I have is a pattern by the Blue Flower, Summer Squirrel. This is the first sort of big, I don't know what I'm saying. This is the first project that I have been successfully stitching on 2/2 with on I think a 36 count. It was an unlabeled fabric when I picked it up from a freebie table, but I've counted like a lot of times, and it's either 36 or 32. And it's just kind of a mystery linen, but this is where I am. So I've just been sticking with the border because that's easy to count. And all of it is DMC except the border. The border calls for color and cotton pine needles. And I had gotten that for another project. So, oops, I just stole it for this one. And so that is showing up okay. It shows up better in person, that yellow sort of flower. And yeah, so I'm just going to continue in the border. And then as I come around down here, the bicycle starts. And so because it's only my first successful time stitching on a higher count fabric, I want to make sure that I'm not having to count super far in order to get to the next thing. So the wheel is only, I think, 2 or 3 stitches away. So I'm probably going to stitch this whole guy from down here. And then I'll stitch these flowers from that corner. I just love this little guy right in here. He's wearing a helmet. He's my favorite guy. Okay, we're wrapping up with the patterns that I don't have in Pattern Keeper. I think I have 3 more to show you. 2 of which have actual progress and 1 of which doesn't. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is from this book called 365 Designs, Cross Stitch All Through the Year by Sam Hawkins. This is from, I just want to see the year. 1995. 1995. I found this at the thrift store, and so I thought, I also found a bunch of plastic canvas the exact same time I went to pick this up, and so I'm stitching this guy right here, and I love him. Stitching up really great on the plastic canvas. Some of these I don't really think are like gonna look good on the plastic canvas in order to make them as ornaments, but this guy did. I might stitch him twice because I just don't want to have to do that. So yeah, he's kind of big, right? But I think that's like a good size. So this is as far over, and then this is as far as the top goes. So I just have his neck and his head to do, and then some back stitching. I have to back stitch the wings and whatnot. But it's coming along quite nicely. Pardon my needle just dangling, holding on literally by a thread. I'll fix that. So yeah, I really have loved stitching this. All of these are quite small, and so I mean this is taking me forever to stitch because I'm stitching it like 50 stitches at a time. And then I put it down. But yeah, really enjoying the experience. We'll probably stitch it again because I know a lot of people in my life who would like that one. And so we'll see however many people get it for Christmas this year. Okay, the next thing that I would love to show you is sampler 2 out of the Quaker Samplers book by Leslie Wilkins. This was just published this year, I believe. And I picked it up. I did a flip through on my channel back in April. So if you want to see some of the designs, you can go right ahead and do so. The samplers are just named 1 through 20 or whatever. So this is the one that I'm doing. I have a very abysmal start on it. Very, very teeny tiny. I'm stitching it with Floss of the Month by Rolanda, because I got a pack of Floss of the Month and all of them are sort of variegated in this way, and I wasn't really sure how I'd use them. So I got this book and I decided to just see how it goes. And so this is on a piece of 18 count oatmeal, or maybe it's 20 count oatmeal. I think it's 20 because the coverage is pretty good. And so that's all I've gotten so far. The variegation is really nice. And yeah, I just kind of only put it like a thread or two in at a time, just because it's with the book, and I mean, I'm just not stitching that much. That's the truth of it. And so if I start something, the likelihood of me getting much of it done is slim. Okay, so I have one more project that is not a pattern keeper, and that's Blackbird Designs Fairy Garden. I got this pattern as part of the Kitted Up swap hosted by Chinook Crafter and Michelle, and I always forget the other person is because I'm friends with Michelle. And I think her name is Kat or Kate, and Helen of the Diddy Stitcher was the one who gifted to me, which is beautiful, magical. She kitted this up with the Gentle Art thread. It's her own conversion. Some of the colors are called for, some are not. So I'll just show you the threads. Pardon the disaster that they are at the moment. I'm just doing my best here. So these are, oops. These are the threads. They're simply beautiful. And I love stitching with them. This has been a really amazing experience. Oh, sorry, there are a few classic colorworks as well. It's been a magical experience to stitch with the Gentle Art thread. And I am very eager to get my hands on a few more of these patterns. Specifically, I think I want to stitch this one and the butterfly one, and maybe this one down here. And I want to use all Gentle Art when I stitch those. This is on, I think, another 20 count piece of fabric that Helen coffee tea dyed herself. And so, oh my gosh, it looks stunning on this piece of fabric. Every time I look at it, I am just shocked. It's beautiful. Her conversion is amazing. The stitches are beautiful. The variegation, subtle but amazing. I love this piece, and I'm so grateful to Helen for sending that my way. And honestly, if I have any desire to stitch the next week, I think it's gonna be that. Because it gets tucked away and then I see it and it's so beautiful and it stitches up so quickly, which I think is something else that's magical about it. It's the first Blackbird I've ever stitched, so it has been a delight, I should say. The next WIPs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are in Pattern Keeper, so I have stats of where I am at. And so I'll be able to tell you that. I could tell you where I was at the beginning of the year, but I might just put it down in the corner. The first one is a start this year. Linguist Stitches is doing a year of nature walks by Spreading Pine. They have 12 or 13 of them. And I decided to start with lofty ambitions this year, but I've not even finished the first one. So I picked First Snow, and this is where I'm at. This is on 20 count, or I think this is like a 28 count. I'm stitching it 1/1. I am 52.83%. So there's a lot of snow to be put in. There's one more branch here. So there's no before this year percentage because I started it. I was hopeful to finish this before winter was over, to finish it in like March or February. And I did get a big push, but it's not done yet. Being at 52%, it is the closest to a finish. I think I have 700 stitches left, and then it will be done. So I just have to get on that and see how we go. The next pattern that I have is called Harvest Season Cucumbers. It's by Forest Embroidery. I started this with Marjorie of Marjorie Made, but I do believe she has finished, or she's very close to finish. She did a classic color work conversion that we both purchased, and I am stitching it on a 20 count something. I don't know what it's called. It's beige. And this is where I'm at. So I'm currently at 42.42%. This did get worked on this year because it got called for WIP Go. And I think I put in almost this entire garlic bowl. So this also stitches up quite quickly when I kind of get on a roll. I do like stitching with classic color works. I think it works up beautifully, and I love the way it feels. And so it's just a matter of kind of implementing a rotation. I think not necessarily I need to stitch on something all of the time, but I think what might be beneficial is just picking a WIP, and whatever I stitch that week, I stitch that week, and then I rotate it. We'll see what the latter half of the year brings. The next project I have is Birds from Bernard's Books. This is a modern folk embroidery piece. I am stitching this on also a 20 count oatmeal. This is like the second half of the same fabric that the Quaker is stitched on. And I'm stitching it with Roxy Floss Coat Cheshire. Now this is a very deep purple, but it always comes across as blue or dark brown on camera. But it is purple. If I come in close, you can kind of get that purple hue. This is beautiful. I love this, but the border is killer because it's the same on both sides and it'll be the same on the bottom. It is easy stitching because you just go, 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 go. It is easy stitching. I'll give it that. I am currently at 32.64%. If I were to hope for a goal, is that the next time you see this in a WIP parade, so January, in theory, I want to be at 50%. I want to be halfway done. I want to be making progress on it. So we'll see. We'll see. One can only hope. Okay, next is Strawberry Goose Witch. This, I love this pattern. She is looking fabulous, but she was in a hoop, so I apologize. This is on maybe an 18 count. Most of my fabrics are either 18 or 20 count. I don't really stitch on 16 count very much, and I don't have many projects that are on higher counts. So it'll be one or the other. This is just like a pale green fabric. I don't know what it's called, but here she is. So I got part of the frame going on. I have most of the greenery here. I've started her sweater. This is the center of her sweater. It'll come around, and then we will go from there. Strawberry Goose Witch, this is 25%. So her sweater is basically full coverage. Then she has a hat on. And also this border, this sort of frame, that she's in, right? I'm not quite all like halfway around, but it's double, and then there's a darker color in the middle to do. So she is a bit more tedious to stitch, is not the word I would use, but it is the word I am using. Mostly just because there's so many shades of green and the pinks, and they're all quite similar. And you just have to be careful because you want the effect of the sweater and the greenery and all of that. You want it to look beautiful, right? And so you just have to pay attention. And paying attention is not something I can always do. So, but I do love her. I don't know when I started this. I don't know if it was this year or if it was last year. But I love her. I think this might have been this year because I think I started it at the same time that I started Nature Walk or just after. Listen, I don't know. Would love to be a girl that keeps track, but quite often I don't keep track. So this is a full coverage piece that I have, and it's called Afternoon Picnic. It's by Nara X Stitch Designs on Etsy. She is sitting at a whopping, are you ready for it? 6%, 6.19 if we're counting. And I love her, but I love the idea of full coverage, but there's a reason why I only have like one really at the moment, besides the ornament from Dimensions. Okay, but this is what she looks like. This is on a 20 count, just white Aida. I don't know what that mark is. There isn't there is a little bit of a crease in the fabric. Hopefully that comes out. It's not stained or anything. It's just a crease. It looks stained. So there we are. I can't wait to get in the middle with all of that pink and blue and everything like that. It doesn't really look much like a forest at the moment, but I am hopeful that it will look more like a forest the more I get into it. Yeah, 6%. If I want to say anything about the end of the year, which I can't, maybe to 10% would be good this year. I think I'm at like 2,500 stitches, and it was 40,000. So to get to 10%, I just need to get to 4,000 stitches. It is very blocky, but then you have like super ninja stitches. There's like colors where there's only like 20 stitches in the whole pattern, and they're all everywhere. So we'll see how we go. Okay, 3 more projects. That's it. We're rolling through. We're almost done. This is my most recent start. This is Flirtation by Long Dog. This is one of the peccadillos that they have, so smaller long dogs. I do have another long dog to show you. And I do want to pause for just one moment here and talk briefly about some plans. Crafty Emily is having a year of long dogs next year. She has a video. I will leave it linked below. I watched it and my jaw was just on the floor. She is so creative. She has such an amazing eye and gift with color and with long dogs. She's really just done so much. She's completed quite a few long dogs, and her year of long dogs next year is just going to be fun. And I felt inspired because I've purchased long dogs, but I, up until recently, have only started one. And so my goal is to start 2 more picadillos, the small ones, and hopefully work on them as well as my other long dog throughout next year. They're the picadillos are the small ones that I want to start. This one I think is like 8,000, and then the other ones are maybe like 10 or 12,000 stitches. So not super small, but not super large. And I'm going to stitch them all on this 20 count antique white Aida, or antique white Lugana, sorry. and I'm going to stitch them in the same sort of color family. So I apologize. I was doing like a color swatch on the other side of this, but you might see through. Yeah, you can see it. I have to pick it out. But this is what I have so far. This is 4.75%. This is stitched with DMC 21. And then I'm going to stitch, this is going to be the smallest one, and it'll be in the middle, which I think is cool. The other two will be longer. But then I'm going to stitch one in 20 and then the other one in 22. So I will have 3 little long dogs all in these shades, which I think will be cute. And the thing about doing them on this 20 count fabric is this one will be, I think, 5 across by 7 inches, and then the other ones will be, I think, 4 across by 9 inches. So they're small, right? Especially on 20 count. But this is probably one of my favorite DMC colors. I love this color so much. And I love the way it's looking on here. This is just stitched 1/1. And honestly, this is the most stitching I've done in a while. And I stitched all of this within, I think, a day. So apologies, I'm not holding that very well. But there we are. Beautiful. The penultimate cross stitch WIP that I have is Black Vintage Sampler by Forest Embroidery. This year, in I think January, it was called for WIP Go. No, in January I decided I was going to stitch on it every day. It's going to be my stitch a day piece. And I got to the 50% mark. I'm at 52.41%. This is just stitched on an antique Ada 18 count, I believe. It's 2/1 with just DMC 3. Sorry, I just have a needle randomly in there. Okay, with DMC 310, and this is where we're at. So I love it so much. I've been working primarily over on this side here in the carriage and the horse, and then bringing the border up. So I'll just bring that in a little bit for you to see. And then once I'm done this, there's a little bit more on this side, a little bit more like a border across the top, and then we're into the top band, which has the giant house and the lady and the man. So it's going to take me a long time. Also, the clock is up there. But yes, I am thrilled with this piece. It's taken me quite a long time. I remember in my first WIP parade, I just had the boat done. I had just started it. And I had just done the boat. And now, all these years later, 2 or 3 years later, it's not done, but a lot of work has been put into her. And it just makes me so happy. The good thing about a WIP parade is when you see all of your WIPs and you are just full of joy and you just want to have the brain space to stitch. I think the rotation will happen and it will help, even if it's just like 20 stitches on something. At least I'm getting variety and I'm getting some stitches in on all of these WIPs. Okay, just like that, friends. 45 minutes into the video, I have my final WIP. This is Pandemic by Long Dog Sampler. I am thrilled. I'm excited. I'm delighted. I still have a very, very long way to go, but I have put in some work on her. This is on a 20 count, pardon me, vintage country mocha. I bought a meter of fabric, so it's a bit unruly. But here we go. This is where I'm at. So I've made it all the way across. This is 17.63%. My goal at the moment is to just kind of bring everything down to the same level as this corner here. So just kind of work across, bring everything down, and then because this is a little bit past the first page, and then I can just move down, and then I will probably move all the way down either on this side or on this side here, just move all the way down and get to the bottom, because working with all this fabric is, sorry, I'm shaking you a whole lot. Working with all of this fabric it's a nightmare. But I do not want to measure, and I do not want to cut until I'm there and I know, and it'll be okay. So I am in love with this piece. I love it. Sorry, it's stitched with DMC 3799, and all of the animals are in 501. And so to participate in Crafty Emily's Long Dog year next year, I'm going to be stitching those picadillos, but I am also going to be going real hard on Pandemic. And I'm hoping that my stitchy bug comes back next year, because from February to April, all I got to do is work and study for my exams. And then in May I can write, or in April and May, I have to write 2 exams. I can write those. And then I'll be working once I get my registration. So hopefully with like less brain power in terms of school, I will be able to stitch and get some heavy progress on Pandemic. I'm not going to say I'm going to finish it next year, because I am not even a quarter of the way done. But it would be my dream to finish it next year. And like as a gift to myself for finishing school and getting a job and, you know, taking care of business, what if I got this framed? Okay, we're getting like way ahead of ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it to the end of the video, I've had a great time procrastinating and looking at my WIPs. Now I have to go study neuro for my neuro exam tomorrow. Please let me know how you are, where you're from, what you're doing. If you're stitching, what are you stitching? I would love to know. And yeah, I was thinking about making a version of the projects for autumn, projects for winter. I did one for spring, but I missed summer. So I'm kind of toying with that idea. So I would love to know your favorite patterns for those seasons. I don't have really anything else. I just want to say thank you so much. You should have got some stitching done if you were stitching while you were watching. Please consider subscribing if you want to. I don't know how often I'll be back. Hopefully I can do like a monthly thing, but I feel a little bit silly making an update if I don't have a whole lot to show. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just sprinkle in some of the goings on in cross stitch land that I love. I could showcase some patterns or some floss tubers or that kind of thing, just to make my videos a little bit more than, hey, I've put in 100 stitches on 3 projects each. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully you'll see me in August. But if not, I hope you take care. I hope you're well. I hope you're happy, healthy, and safe. And you can feel free to follow me on Instagram, send me a DM if there's anything you want to talk about. Thanks so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.